Welcome to my channel where we discuss everything politics, especially about the 2023 presidential election in Nigeria. You know that recently the presidential candidate of the Labour Party in the February 25 presidential election in Nigeria, Mr. Peter Obi, visited Nobel laureate Wole Soyinka, and that has generated a lot of controversy and discussion across the country, especially on social media. Now, Peter Obi was the first to make this public through his Twitter handle, where he posted that today I visited one of Nigeria's most revered figures and an international literary icon, Professor Wole Soyinka. Obi tweeted, the former Anambra State governor describes Soyinka as a fighter who always stand for justice and equity in society. Now, before the visit, Soyinka had, in an interview, accused supporters of Peter Obi, known as the Obidients, of fascism over their alleged attitude of seeing attacks on individuals on social media as their badge of honor. The Nobel laureate had also said that the Labour Party vice presidential candidate, Dati Baba Ahmed, was being fascist and that his comments towards the judiciary were unacceptable. Dati, on his own part, has said that the president-elect, Bola Tinubu, will lead an unconstitutional government if sworn into office because the All Progressive Congress candidate has not met requirements of the law. Of course, many of us know about this issue when it came up, where Dati Baba Ahmed was insisting that Section 134, subsection 2B, which requires that for anybody to be declared the president of Nigeria or the winner of presidential election, he must get 25% of the vote cast in Abuja. And that's when Bola Ahmed Tinubu of APC did not get that. That was at the center of his assertion that if you swear him in, you are violating the constitution. And Wole Soyinka took him on that. And we all know that even Wole Soyinka at the time challenged him for a debate, challenged that Ahmed for a debate. Now, when Obi, because of the kind of things people are saying on the social media, because of the intervention of Professor Wole Soyinka, maybe Obi thought it's the wise thing to go and visit the professor. And his own understanding of it, which I think was ill-advised, which I will talk about by the end, towards the end of this video. It was really ill-advised. Obi, however, said that his visit to Soyinka was intended to erase needless misconceptions about both of them. Obi said that Professor Soyinka has been a father whom I hold in very high esteem for what he has achieved and stands for in the struggle for a better Nigeria. Obi said, his reputation as a fighter for justice and equity in our society has been legendary, and we will never ignore them. I had a very useful and enriching discussion about his aspirations for a better and greater Nigeria, and he shared a lot with me about his dream for a greater and more inclusive Nigeria. I reminded the Nobel laureate of the huge price he paid just before the outbreak of the Civil War, fighting for the cause of the Igbos. I cherish this Sunday's visit, which was intended to erase the needless misconception about the relationship between the great icon and the obedient family. This is where Obi enter into problem with Prof. He said that it's about misconception about the relationship between the great icon and the obedient family. That was the weapon he now gave Professor Wole Soyinka to issue a statement. I told you it was an ill-advised visit, and I'll tell you why it was an ill-advised visit. Now, Professor Soyinka, shortly after Peter Obi's visits became public in the media, when Peter Obi put out that the result, the outcome of his meeting, sort of, with Soyinka, other media houses swarmed it and began to interpret it in whichever way they like. Now, Soyinka was now issued a statement and dismiss what he called reconciliation report about him and Peter Obi's supporters. Okay, he said that he described it as inappropriate and diversionary media reports that Peter Obi's recent visit to his Abeokuta residence was for reconciliation. The renowned playwright said he knows and can relate to Obi as the presidential candidate of the Labour Party in the February 25 election, but does not know any entity called Obidients. Reacting to the media report that Obi's visit to him was for reconciliation, Soyinka said there is no issue to reconcile between him and the Obidients because he does not know them. In a statement, he said, "Let me clarify. I know the entity known as Peter Obi, presidential candidate of Labour Party. I can relate to him. I know and can relate to the Labour Party on whose platform he contested elections. There are simply no issues to reconcile between these two entities and myself. However, I do not know and I'm unable to relate to something known as obedience or obedient family. Thus, Albert, in a different vein, any notion of reconciliation or even relations, positive, negative, or indifferent with such a spectral emanation is simply grasping at empty air." I told you that the visit on its own was needless. I put it in the same bracket to the visit that Peter Obi made to Femi Kuti when Femi Kuti was alleging that the obedience were harassing Peter Obi when visited his house. It was like this one, it was a needless adventure. It doesn't make sense. You see, this idea of reconciling, trying to be good, appear good to everybody, it makes no sense to me. Everybody can't like you. Everybody can't like your politics. Come on, we ought not to know this. Even our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, everybody didn't like him. We know how he ended up in terms of his relationship with his fellow Jews. So any idea that you must, put yourself in a position of peacemaker all the time, it doesn't really make sense. Because those who are trying to make peace with must show evidence. You must see traces, look at their background, see whether they really want the kind of peace you are looking for. Okay. Now, if you look at some of the things Soyinka said in his statement, it makes you wonder. Because Soyinka was claiming that he doesn't know the obedience. If he doesn't know the obedience, who are the people he classified as fascists? Who are the people he classified as fascists? If he doesn't know that there is a sort of a group in Nigeria who are known as the Obedients. Why did he classify them as fascists? By classifying them as fascists means that he understands that they exist, but in his own understanding, they behave like fascists. So he condemned them for being fascist in their actions. But we didn't hear Professor Soyinka condemn MCO Olomo when Olomo was moving from place to place in Lagos, telling people of certain ethnic group not to come out to vote for the election, or telling people that if you are not from APC, don't come out on election day to vote. Okay? These people, they are not fascists. MCO Olomo, uh, Bayo Nanoga, who were spewing ethnic slurs everywhere during and after the election in Lagos State. And Soyinka cannot claim he wasn't aware of them. His home in Abeokuta is not far from Lagos. Of course, even if he was abroad at the time, social media brings the news to him, no matter where he was in the world. So to me, it doesn't really make sense for him, for Prof to say you don't know the obedience when you have already classified them as fascists in a statement you issued in the past. And you remember also that before then, in another, when he was challenging that Baba Ahmed, because Soyinka didn't say anything about the election until that Baba Ahmed came out to say that his friend, Tinubu, that's friend of Professor Soyinka, should not be sworn in. That was basically what incensed him to come out, to come and challenge. Why should he say something like that? Who is he? Is he a judge or what? That he should be able, who gave Dati Ahmed the temerity to come and say that swearing as Bola Ahmed Tinubu will be like swearing in the military. But Dati Baba Ahmed was basing his assertion on section 134, section 2B, of course, which is now subject of interpretation by the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court will tell us what that section is all about, especially in respect of getting 25% in Abuja. After all, Michael Anduaka, former Attorney General of the Federation, has told the world that as far as he is concerned, the Supreme Court has settled this matter in 2008 in Buhari versus Yaradua, where the Supreme Court, in its wisdom, stated that the word 25% of the votes in 36 states of the Federation and Abuja, that the and is conjunctive, which many of us have said that Supreme Court has to stand on that premise. That particular statement, that was, if they cannot change their mind, even though Andrew Aka was saying that the Supreme Court may change its mind because it's now uh, about 14 years or thereabouts. But we had Supreme Court judgments that stands for the past 60 years and more. So on what basis will the Supreme Court change its mind now in 2023 in respect of FCT? being conjunctive in respect of the states of the federation. That when you get 24, you must win, play 25% of the vote cast in two-thirds of the states of the federation and the federal capital territory Abuja. That was the basis. That was the scene of Dati Baba Ahmed, because he said that section of the constitution should be respected. Because ab initio, INEC is not supposed to declare anybody president without taking into consideration that particular section. Because Chief Mike in Guinea, who worked with INEC for 10 years, was sounding the alarm on February 24, a day before the election, that nobody should be declared the president, should be declared the winner of the election without getting 25% in Abuja. The viral video is everywhere. You can go and check it out. He spoke with Arise Television as if he knows that something was about to happen the next day. He said, nobody. I'm saying this as a note of warning. Let the world hear me. That's what Dr. Ngini was saying. And if Ngini knows this section, this vital section, that it is important for somebody to be declared winner, how come that Professor Yakubu don't know it? It is assumed that he knows it. If Ngini knows it, who was in INEC for 10 years before retirement, is aware of this, that you must get 25% in Abuja, no reasonable person will believe that Mahmoud Yakubu is not aware of it. Now, I, however, agree with Soyinka that reconciling with Obidients is tantamount to grasping the air. To me, that was okay, because the Obedience is too big that even Peter Obi himself cannot be able to control the Obedience, because these are diverse people whose centrality of purpose is to see a new Nigeria, and they come from different dimensions. That's why there are some things Peter Obi will do, they will attack him. So to say, if you reconcile with one section of Obedience, you may not be able to reconcile with another section, because they are big. It's almost amorphous. That's the only place I agree with him, that anybody who tries say you want to reconcile with the Obedience are a big family. They can be united in one thing, and that same, they can also be disunited over a particular issue, especially when they see that it goes against the general interest of establishing a new Nigeria. The only thing that brings them together is that Obi is the symbol of the type of the Nigeria they want to see. Okay. Now, I told you that the visit was needless. It was needless because, one, what is the purpose of visiting Professor Soyinka? The elections are over. Soyinka has taken his position. There is nothing Peter Obi can do that will stop Soyinka from not supporting his friend, Aswad Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Peter Obi ought to have known this, and shouldn't have wasted his time trying to cut him. There was basically nothing. Even when Soyinka pretended as if he supported Peter Obi, he never did. I don't believe him. Because there were a place in the previous statement he issued where he tried to give the impression that he warned Peter Obi that the only thing that will cause him this election is the behavior of his supporters, which of course is the Obedience. He said that in 2 or 3 occasions, go and check his previous statements that he sent message across to Peter Obi telling him, if you lose this election, it's because of your supporters, the Obidients, which he knows about. But the last statement he issued, he pretended he doesn't know who are the Obidients. But even at that, I just know that there is no way Tinubu will be in the ballot and Soyinka will support Peter Obi. There's no way. No matter all the pretensions they have that they want a new Nigeria, there are things that they just uh, cannot accept. So I don't believe that Soyinka had in any way thought that Peter Obi was better than Tinubu, his friend. If he thought so, what stopped him from expressing it? Where was he when Afenifere and the others were endorsing Peter Obi? He could not pretend that he was not in this country. Even if he was outside the country, he can send his endorsement from anywhere in the world, but he never did. So Peter Obi, like they say in local parlance, he fall many people's hand by that visit. It's not necessary. He ought to have known better than that. And at the end of the day, you can see the statement that uh, that Soyinka issued literally, erase whatever was achieved by that meeting with him. Thank you for watching this video. And if you are new to my channel, you have not yet subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel. Hit the subscription button, hit the notification bell. When you subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell, anytime I have a new video, you'll be among the first to know. God bless you. And please don't forget to like this video, because when you like it, Google will rank it high and recommend it for more people. God bless you and yours.